Good morning, good morning. Now he is renowned about 3, 2, 1. There we have it. Round of applause, please, gentlemen. That is press conference.
We are delighted to announce that the new Red Bull Air Race World Championship will take to the air and will be back in 2014.
There we have it, 2014, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Talladega Super Speedway. This is LSRTV. We're here at the RSR IceBreaker series for Talladega for 88 laps. Is a series that's been going on for a long time. Series that I have experience in, and something I'm not really experienced in is broadcasting, but we're going to give it a shot tonight. We're going to start the night off with the starting lineup for the field. Starting on the pole is number 4, CJ LeVere, and J. Randall Watkins will lead off on the second position. Joey Gatania, he will start third with Bobby Terrell, who's long known for putting on a good show around these parts. He will start in fourth. And rounding out the top 5 will be EJ Rourke. Starting in 6th position will be the number 5 of AJ Browning. Chad Cole will be 7th, Matt Lacrosse 8th, Brendan Mercer 9th, and Dwayne Vincent, a driver who I am familiar with driving with, all across iRacing, their official series. He will be rounding out the top 10. Nathan Bowers in 11th, Doug Roth in 12th, Stephen Maddox in 13th, Frank Coons in 14th, and Scott Brotherton, another driver who I'm familiar with, will start 15th. Jose Gonzalez, Luis Rodriguez, Rhett McBride, Bruce Perry, and Jason W. White will round out the top 20. Starting in 21st, another driver I'm familiar with, Mark Bratchard, Stephen Herring in 22nd, Douglas Wyatt in 23rd, NASCAR Camping World Truck Series driver Scott Stenzel in 24th, and Chad Schilling in 25th. Scott Smiley's in 26th, 27th is Brian Harvey, Kevin Linden is 28th, Keith Brooks Jr. is 29th, and that rounds out the drivers who have taken an official time during the qualifying session. Getting lined up here down the back straightaway, entering into turn 3 now, just a moment. Getting ready to go green flag racing this time by. Something to keep an eye on this race will be a balance between the tandem and pack racing. With iRacing and NASCAR sanctioned rules, NASCAR trying to get rid of the tandem racing. With that, iRacing trying to make the most realistic simulation possible. They're also trying to go that route of going with pack racing rather than tandem. It's going to be an interesting balance to see where we'll see a mix of tandem and pack racing as the pace car comes off. Another note for Talladega Super Speedway making it unique, the start-finish line is not in the middle of the trial vault. It is actually not all the way down past the pit entrance on the short chute entering turn 1. So CJ Lavere will take the field down for the green flag, and the green flag is out, and the field is rolling, and they're double file heading into turn 1. CJ Lavere and Joey Gattina, they're tandeming in the front here in the Great Clips 14. He is trying to push CJ Lavere to the lead. He will clear the outside lane of the 77. And it looks like we got a 5-car freight train on the inside of the pack, pulling away, trying to make... Alright, back up at the front now out of turn 4, coming around to complete lap 1. CJ Lavere looking to lead the lap, but EJ O'Rourke getting help from him. Looks like with the 8-car of Chad Cole, they're going to be 2 by 2 at the line, but CJ Lavere is going to get the lead as they tandem up in the front. Not too much of pack racing right now. Seems everyone's just trying to get situated, and they're trying to line up 2 by 2 by 2 as the top 4 are 2 by 2 right now. Thundering off of turn 2 down the long back straightaway. Looks like EJ O'Rourke trying to get a run on the outside. Chad Cole giving him a lift there. EJ clears the inside tandem. CJ has not cleared them. Or Chad has not cleared them, but CJ's on the inside with Joey pushing him. In the meantime, while this is going on, Matt Lacrosse is trying to lead that second group, being pushed by Dwayne Vincent. They're trying to catch these lead tandems, which should be in a couple of laps here. Don't expect too much here. You can't push too long, maybe a lap, more so in the beginning of the race with the engines being so cool after the pace lap, but once the engines really get hot here, it's only going to be a matter of time before these cars are going to have to swap. The top 4 cars, they all stay single file, 2 by 2, still paired up. Seems to be a lot of single car action right now. Single line, that is. Everyone's trying to get lined up. This is a long race, 88 laps. Hearing at the 14 of Joey Gatnia, he may be getting hot. He's trying to lay off with a 4 car. He's going to go to the outside here. Try to get air into his nose, and in the meantime, that's going to open a lane for EJ O'Rourke and the 8 of Chad Cole to sneak on the inside. Chad's going to push EJ to the lead off of turn 2. And with the 14 and the 4, as you notice, when their tandem breaks up, it really brings in the second pack. Second pack, the 77 car. Looks like he's pushing, looks like the 21. No, the 21's falling in line there. That would be the 29 of Brendan Mercer trying to get the outside lane going with the 77 of J. Randall Watkins in the Miller High Life Genuine Draft Ford Mustang. Now looking to get a side-by-side battle for the lead. Joey Gattina with the number 4 of CJ Lavere trying to push him. That tandem comes apart, and in the meantime, EJ O'Rourke and Chad Cole are going to stay 1 and 2. Maybe pull away from the rest of the pack right here. Just completed lap number 5, now on lap number 6. A lot of the fields starting to calm down a little bit here. Not as much tandem racing, kind of resorting back to the traditional pack racing. Guys are all kind of coming back together 1 by 1. See some action up there on the outside. Got the 91 of Stephen Maddox trying to get the outside going about middle of the pack there. 21 of Matt Lacrosse, he may be hung out to dry in a couple of moments here because he does not have a partner. Everyone else seems to be 2 by 2 by 2, all settling in while we have a nice exciting battle for the lead. Great clips Impala of Joey Gattina. He's going to lead the race here, going into turn 1. CJ Lavera pushing him. They've been a pretty much well committed to each other for the duration of this race so far 7 laps in. Coming around to complete lap 7. Again, EJ O'Rourke looking on the outside with Chad Cole pushing him. EJ is going to lead the lap by just a couple of hundredths of a second. EJ is going to drop down now to the inside, drop his partner Chad, come back up to pick him up. This gives a run for the 14 and 4 on the inside, and that's now an 8-car race for the lead up off of turn 2. Not missing much in the back right now. Everyone seems to be a single file freight train. Scott Stenzel's trying to make some moves on the outside there. Trying to make this a 10 to 12 car race, but right now it's just an 10 cars up in the lead pack right now. Got the 29 sneaking up in there again. The 91 and the 638 car. 38 of Mark Bratcher, we mentioned him, the Valvoline Ford Mustang. He's trying to get a piece of the action here. Brett McBride on the inside. But again, the 14 and the 4 seems to be a committed couple and a strong pairing right here in the opening laps at Talladega. Chad Cole has been pushing that 41 for as long as I can remember. He's got to be getting that engine hot at some point. They're going to have to switch here very soon, I would imagine. Starting to turn into a 12-car race now, as I mentioned before. Scott Stenzel in the 42, Scott Simley in the 68. They're joining the party now. Got a big tandem pack of racing up here, heading off into turn 1. More so in the back, starting to get a lot of single-file racing. Looks like a lot of guys trying to lay back, waiting for the big wreck to happen. For many of our race fans out there that are familiar with restrictor plate racing, everyone is aware of the notorious Big One. Big One is a big crash, sweeping up many 10, 12, multiple cars at one time. Nature of the wreck happens because of the nature of the racing with so many cars running so close together at such a high rate of speed. 14 seems to be hung out to dry as his partner in the 4. He's trying to get some air to that nose, but he can't really switch with him right now because this is not a time to go 3 wide. And with the outside lane really pinning them down, there ain't really no room to go. With that happening, the 41 and the 8, they are the leading tandem right now. They clear the 14 and the 4. Now that leaves Bruce Perry in the 6 to lead with the 91 of Stephen Maddox. They're going to try to lead that outside lane going now, try to get some momentum out there. We got Scott Stenzel hanging in the mix now. We got a 4-car train on the outside, trying to make something happen here. 3 cars pushing bumper to bumper. Gonna have to be careful. That 2 cars paired up together in the corners is difficult enough, let alone 3 and even 4. But in the meantime, things are starting to calm down with EJ O'Rourke leading the pack, coming off of turn 4. Nice peaceful lap for him. Looks like he's gonna come down and lead this lap no problem. But maybe next time by, coming off of turn 2, look for that 6 of Bruce Perry. He's coming to the outside trying to make a run right now. And they are going to make a run. The 6 and the 91, they're trying to go 2 by 2 on the outside. Going to get a big jump down the hill off of turn 2, carry the momentum on the outside. They're going to clear the 41, and they're going to be the leading tandem heading into turn 3. Interesting racing up in the front. Here comes Scott Stenzel on the outside. The outside lane seems to have a lot of momentum right now. He's getting pushed by the 68. Stenzel's to the lead right now, but can the 6 of Bruce Perry fight back? No, they will not. The 68 will clear the 6. Scott Stenzel in the Yellow Stripes TV Chevy Impala will lead the way, but pulls off onto the outside. Not sure what really happened right there. Maybe letting the 68, his partner, get some air to the nose. And that was a clean swap now coming off of turn 2. The 42 and the 68, they will switch positions, and now Scott will push the 68 down the back straightaway, but maybe not. They go 3 wide for the lead heading into turn 3. Three wide for the lead. Now in the middle of the pack, fighting for about 5th or 6th position. Scott Stenzel trying to find a position in line. In the meantime, Bruce Perry in the 6th. And in 91 is Stephen Maddox. They're going to pull away, pull to about 4 to 5 car length lead here, unless E.J. O'Rourke and the 8 of Chad Cole have anything to do with it. But in the meantime, it is a hornet's nest behind them, 3 by 3 by 3. Man, it is amazing to see what one swap between the 68 and the 42 done. It shook up the whole entire field. Really brought everyone back together. And what was a calm race about 2 laps ago with most of the cars running single file, it is now a 3 by 3 by 3 freight train down the back straightaway at Talladega. Things are starting to settle down a little bit right now. Back to 2 by 2 racing. Not so much 3 wide at the moment, a little bit further back. Talladega is a track that can handle big wreck in the back of the field. .38 of Mark Bratchard having an issue right now. He is stopped at the entrance of pit road. See if we get an instant replay of maybe what happened there. Looking back at the replay right now, looked like the 38 of Bratchard. Looks like he was working with the 15 of Brett McBride. Looks like just a typical what happens with this tandem racing. Looks like they got checked up. The problem with tandem racing is you can't, when you are the second car pushing, you cannot see the car in front of you unless you are in full communication of the car that you are pushing. That just looked like an act of the 38 not being able to see what was in front of him. There was a checkup between the 15 and the tandem in front of him, and Bratchard did just not have enough time to react and coasted into the inside retaining wall at the entrance of pit road. Now back to the action on the track. 16 laps completed here at Talladega. Chad Cole leading the field right now with the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke in second. Again, for the first 16 laps, we've seen the numbers positions 1 through 4. Those 4 guys have been committed to each other this entire race, and it seems to be paying off for them right now. As they head off into turn 1, they're going to go 2 by 2, it looks like, as the 4 C.J. Lavere looks to the outside of O'Rourke, and they're going to try to go for the lead here down the hill off of turn 2. An exciting battle of 2 by 2 racing with another set of 8 behind them. Have about a 10-car pack here with the lap car to the outside. Not much going on out there. What an amazing move right there by Lavere and Gattina in the 14. Almost coming down on the 8. That made the 8 check up big time, and I think that just made the decision easier for the 41 and the 8 to swap right then and there. Didn't look like the perfect timing for them. Usually you want to switch to positions where the lead car would be to the outside and the second car would swap down to the inside to help carry the momentum for a faster transition. That kind of looked like a last-second decision right there by the 8 and the 41, but it seems to be paying off for them because they're going to fight back now for the lead off of turn 2. And while this is going on, again, Scott Stenzel in the 42 and the 68 is Scott Simley. Got a tandem of Scotts coming here, 4th and 5th and 6th. They're going to try to make a run for their own money here. And then you got the 03 of Nathan Bowers and the 3 of Scott Brotherton and that Ty Dillon Yingling Light Chevy Impala. They're going to try to make a run on the outside. They're going to get to the outside at a 42 and a 68. And just like that, it's an 8-car race for the lead. Trying to go 3 wide back there, nothing happening. E.J. O'Rourke going to barely lead the lap. What an exciting finish that would have been if that was the last lap, but that's why we stay till the end. 18 laps complete, now on lap 19. E.J. O'Rourke starting to pull that outside line now with the 03 and the 3 trying to follow him. They're going to duck down, carry the momentum down the hill to the inside lane, and they're going to pull the entire pack right now, try to snake draft a little bit as they enter turn 3. As a driver who has competed in this series, and not just in this series, but many forms of racing, foreign series across iRacing's official NASCAR series, I would expect for an 88-lap race around lap 20. I think by this point, guys kind of know where they're at as we're 3 wide for the lead. Got a swap going on with the 14 and the 4. That should help the 8 and the 41 pull away. By this point, you expect things to calm down. Looks like we've got a solid 10 to 12 car pack leading. The field is spread out in about 2 separate packs right now. And it's just a matter of guys falling into place and waiting for that first pit stop. That should be coming up in, about 10 laps or so from now. And what comes with that first pit stop is going to be interesting to see if we have an incident similar to what happened to Mark Bratcher just a couple of laps ago with the field checking up. Guys maybe with guys pushing, you would hope they would be in communications with each other. But as we saw with the 15 and the 38, that wasn't the case. And if it happened once, it could definitely happen again. In the meantime, we got a new leader with Nathan Bowers in the 03. It looks like the first lap that he's led all day. It might be the first time that other than the 8, the 4, the 14, or the 41, that either of them have not led a lap all race. If those have been the 2. Oh, big trouble in the lead. The 14 of the great Joey Gattina and the 4, CJ LeVere, one of the best tandems. The 14 slides up to banking in turn 3. He is staying on the apron right now. Do not see a caution on the track yet. Oh man, that changes everything. Just when you would think that the field would slow down. Let's try to get an instant replay up here. Yeah, it looks like the 4 and the 14, they were just trying to go down into turn 3. Just do a regular swap is what they've been doing the first 20 laps, and the 4 just hooked the 14 in the right rear. Joey didn't have much to do right there. Really nothing else he could have done. He did a great job of saving that car, not hitting anything. But just really unfortunate, and now because of the tandem system of racing, the 4 CJ LeVere, he may be hung out to dry right now because this race is staying green and he does not have a partner to draft with. 2 cars are faster than 1, and 2 cars could outrun a pack. And if you're by yourself, that is a very lonely feeling because there is not much a driver could do here at Talladega without having a partner. Looks like maybe the 8 of Chad Cole may be dropping back to run with the 4 of CJ LeVere, which would be interesting because they have not worked together all race, but I believe they are teammates. And the 8 and the 4, they are going to hook up. This brings CJ LeVere back in the race. Problem being, he is now almost 3 seconds behind the leaders. Now starting to focus again back on the race up front. The 42, the Scott and Scott show on the outside, they led that last time by, but the 77 of J. Randall Watkins and the 3 car now hooked up. Actually, no, that is the 29, my apologies. 29 of Brennan Mercer, they're going to push to the lead. Almost got a little bit of 3 wide racing here coming in, entering the trial hole now. And it's amazing just to see what one incident could do. It broke up a pack of what was almost 12 cars, now down to 8, really spread the field out a lot. And the 77 and the 29, they are really pulling away right now, at least 10 to 15 car lengths on the rest of the field. Carrying the momentum from when everyone else slowed down to avoid what they thought was going to be a caution. Now it's just a matter of catch-up for the rest of the pack to try to catch back up to that lead tandem. They're going to swap in turn 3. Just a nice average swap there, natural. Carried on momentum very nicely through the corner, and the 77 is going to hook right back up onto the rear bumper to 29, and they're going to continue to pull away from the pack. Very interesting to see how these team tandems are playing out so far this race. After 25 laps of the event are completed, it seems everyone's kind of found their place and their partner of where they want to be and who they want to work with. But again, when you have incidents like with the 15 and the 38, and again with the 14 and the 4, just one incident like that could change absolutely everything. And just like that, a lap and a half later, the lead pack, the whole pack is caught the lead tandem, and now Scott Stenzel goes for the lead coming off of turn 4. 2x2 off of turn 4, got a lead pack of looks like 8. Outside lane will carry the momentum and prevail here. Scott Stenzel's coming around, looks like he's going to lead this lap no problem. With his teammate, with his new friend in the 68, Scott Smiley, they're going to be leading this lap right here. Scott Brotherton, Nathan Bowers, they're going to try to give them a run for their money. Seems like the outside lane is the place to be, just from what I've seen so far. Seems like the inside lane is the place where you make time, but if you want to carry the momentum and actually make a pass for the lead, you got to do it on the outside because everyone is hugging that yellow line. But I don't know, if I was in this race right now, I think I'd want to be sitting on that outside line. Just seems to be over time, just to, again, I've been saying it a lot, to carry the momentum. It seems to be prevailing for the leaders right now, as you see the 03 and the 3 get a huge run off of turn 4. It's going to be a drag race down to the line this time by to complete the 26th lap of the event. And remember when I said that CJ LeVere lost the draft and he was 3 seconds back? He is now the 3rd car in the outside lane fighting for the lead, as he once was 5 laps earlier. Big pack racing up here in the front now. Looks like about a 14 to 15 car pack. Getting confirmation, yes, the leaders are going to swap. This is going to be big right here, how fast and how much they can carry the momentum of each other's cars through the corner and not disrupt the racing of the rest of the pack. Now it's up to the 3 car who's going to have the momentum to either stick to their guns and stay in line or try to go 3 wide and make this a very interesting race. They're going to look outside, but they're not going to do it. At this time, the 29 is going to lead this lap. And Mercer going to lead that by just 42 hundredths of a second that time by over to 68. And they are really putting on a show for you race fans right now, coming off of turn 2 once again. Coming up on some lap traffic, should not be that much of an issue here in a couple of laps. Look at the 42 push that 68 down the straightaway. Almost wrecking again, similar to what happened to the 14 and the 4, but they were able to correct themselves right there. They're going to drop down to the inside, block the inside lane with the 29 of Mercer. That now leaves a 5-car train to the outside, trying to make something happen here, because we're about a quarter away through the event. Coming down through turn 3. Looks like the 29 and the 77, as they've been working together all race, they're going to try to make a run for the lead right now. But in the meantime, the 68 and the 42 seem to be the predominant pairing right now. Looks like the 42 is going to look to the outside now, maybe try to get those temps cooled down. And as we complete the 29th lap of the event, we're going to crank it up for you guys. 3 wide for the lead coming off of turn 4, about to complete the 32nd lap of the event. Still to 68 and the 42 we're trying to lead the way just as we left you before the Crank It Up segment. Got some new players coming up into the picture now. It looks like we got the 43. I believe that is no. 43 is Doug Roth, my apologies, with the 10 and John Abbott. Almost making contact there for a lead. And Doug Roth's going to prevail here. And he's going to carry the pack the outside lane, and he's going to try to pull them down the back straightaway with the 4-car draft on the outside. Not sure if they're going to be able to clear the 42 and the 68 though. They also swapped right there as well going into turn 1. Doug Roth out of nowhere on lap 33, trying to make something happen here. Him and John Abbott on the outside, almost making it work, but the 77 is trying to stick it to his guns down low. Not sure if he's going to have a partner though upcoming here, because the 4 and the 8 are the next pair behind him, and they seem to be very committed to each other since the 4 and the 14 had their accident about 15 laps prior. Again, the 43 at Doug Roth with John Abbott on the outside. They're going to get a huge run down the back straightaway. Trying to pull that inside line of Stenzel and Simley. But they cannot clear them yet. We have 6-car tandem. We have 3 pairs of 6. 3 pairs of 2 making 6 cars on the outside, and they cannot get around the 42 and the 68. Now finally, looks like the 10 going to try to clear the 42, but it's not going to happen this time by. The Scott and Scott show really giving us a run, really giving the rest of the field a run for their money right now. That Chevy and Ford pairing right there seems to be a match made in heaven right now. Again, Doug Roth with John Abbott on the outside, trying to make that outside work. We've seen it work so many times so far in this event, but it looks like they seem to be having trouble getting around the 42 and the 68. Let's keep in mind that earlier this past fall, Scott Stenzel, you see him right there leading this pack. He drove for the Mittler Brothers team number 63 in the Camping World Truck Series event at Talladega, seen on Fox Sports 1. Was racing up in the top 10 for a good while there. Put on a good show for the fans. Hoping to run a couple of more events this upcoming season. Stay tuned, check out his website. I believe it's scottstenzel.com. But in the meantime, he's going to keep training on iRacing here, and he's really making the most of it. 3 wide for second right now. The 10 and the 43 had to switch because the 10's engine was way too hot. And in the meantime, that Ford Mustang engine is able to stay cool behind the 42. And again, they're still going to pull the field down the back straightaway. In the meantime, the 14 of Joey Gattina, who was up there in the front, remember he spun down to the apron off of turn 3 earlier when he made contact with CJ LeVere. Him and John Wilco in the 62, they're about to fall victim to this big pack in a mere couple of laps. As they're about maybe 15 car lengths ahead of the leaders. 10 and the 43, they've dropped back a little bit, now trying to make a run, but also on the outside we got the 29 and Brennan Mercer, and the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke now paired up. They're gonna try to make something happen here on the outsides. We got lap traffic. Oh, almost big trouble right there in the turn 3. As I just mentioned, the 62 and the 14 were gonna fall victim to that pack, and that was almost in very dramatic fashion. They are courteous enough to move to the outside, and in the meantime, the whole field, which was just 3 wide a lap ago, they're back down to single file racing as we come around to complete the 37th lap of this 88-lap event. Here comes the 29 of Mercer and the 41 of O'Rourke. Now they're going to try to make the outside work. That 68 cannot push that 42 forever. I cannot believe they made it this far for this long. Might be coming up on green flag pit stops this time by, from what I've been hearing on the over scanner here. Seems like the 42 and the 68 have been in communications, and they are going to pit right here. The leaders, Scott Stenzel, the 68, Scott Simley, they're going to pit by themselves. Got to get down to 55 miles an hour, and they're going to do it. Now hearing at the 29 and the 41, the next lead pair, and they're going to pit this time by. Very critical here with green flag pit stops. It's a matter of not only of how fast you can get on the pit road, but how fast you can get off. How many tires do you take here? 2, 4, or none? Tires aren't that critical unlike other tracks here, like at Talladega. Everything is about track position, and it's all about what your teammate does. The more in sync that you and your partner are with the tandem here, the better off you're going to be, because that's the less time you have to come back to each other, the more time you'll be able to make up on the racetrack. In the meantime, looks like the 35 is coming in. .35 being Chad Schilling. He was towards the tail end of the lead lap. The leaders, the 29 and the 41, they came in as they called it. Looks like the 10's going to come in this time by with the 43. And I would expect the rest of the leaders to come in this time by. Have about 6 to 8 cars on pit road right now. If my scanner is yelling at me correctly, sounds like the rest of the field's going to pit this time by as we enter turn 3 and 4. They're all single file hugging that yellow line. There's about 8 cars in the lead pack right now. And here they come. For big trouble. Oh, Doug Roth, what a save, but Lavaire's going to spin it on pit entry, and Roth is going to hit him in the infield trialable grass. Big trouble for the 4 and the 43. The 43 is stuck out there in the grass right now. Lavaire's trying to get going. Now the 43 gets going. Big troubles for the 43 on the front nose. If we get a camera shot of that, his front nose is destroyed. That is going to kill him aerodynamically. And other than a couple of intermediate tracks, this is one of the most aerodynamic dependent tracks on the circuit. Let alone that, just the amount of time that the 43 and the 4 have lost on entering pit road. I would throw the eggs in the basket for this one. I think the 43 is going to be out of the race, and I think the goose is cooked on the 4 car as well. His second incident of the race. How many times is he going to be able to strike out here and still get lucky? In the meantime, the rest of the leaders from that lead pack, they're going to blend off of turn 2 here, staying on the apron. Per RSR rules, you must maintain your position on the apron of the after exiting pit road until you blend onto the back straightaway. The field's going to be really spread out here for the next couple of laps, as we all come back together here. Keep in mind with a couple of those incidents, very difficult to pit here at Talladega, and especially Daytona International Speedway. You're going from a mere 200 miles an hour down to 55 in about 4 to 5 seconds. These aren't sports car brakes either, or the brakes that you find on your daily street car. It's not easy to slow down 3,400 pound stock cars in a mere 3 to 4 seconds. Field really spread out there after the pit stops. Got the 48 of Kevin Linden. He's got a 2-second lead right now, but don't expect that to last too long because he does not have a partner. Actually scratched at the 48. He has picked up the 19. Being Rich Jet, he's about 4 laps down. I think he's trying to recover from an earlier incident on the track. So this is pretty interesting right now, as they're gonna try to maintain here, but it took him a while to find a partner, so he dropped to the back. So in the meantime, as Chad Cole and Matt Lacrosse, as green flag pit stops has cycled through, the 8 and the 21, they're going to retain the lead here on lap 43. With a huge lead, may I add. They got 2 seconds on the rest of the tandems. don't really want to say pack or field, because everyone really is just in a group of tandems right now. 66 of Brian Harvey, he may be in some trouble here, fighting for the 7th position. Hung out to dry without a partner. 68 and a 42. The 2 of Dwayne Vincent and the 7 of Bobby Terrell coming into the picture now. First time we're talking about them all event. Now, as a driver, you got to be thinking, now what do you want to do? Do you want to stay in line here and try to work together? Because if you have three pairs of 2, total of 6 cars all working together, staying in line, they should be able to catch the leaders in a mere couple of laps here. But it's a matter of trying to get 6 drivers who are all hungry for the win to try to cooperate under the same roof. It's a matter of getting your swaps in pair, everyone switching at the same time, everyone staying in line. It's very difficult to get all these cars in sync at one time as the cross flags are out. We're halfway through the event. Chad Cole leads the way. 2.5 seconds now over the 6 of Bruce Perry and the 91 of Stephen Adams. Got some good racing back here. Right around the 7th and 8th position. Dwayne Vincent, Scott Stenzel side by side for the 7th position with Scott Simley. Bobby Terrell pushing them. Again, got the 48 of Kevin Linden. He's hanging on there, pushing a lap car of Rich Jett. The 19 car is 5 laps off of the leaders. So if he were to, so maybe that would be a nice pairing for the 48, because he could push him all the way to the front and he could retain the lead and still be the 2nd car in line. In the meantime, there were the front tandem, pair of 2. Then it was about 2 pairs of 4 separated. Now they're all together at this point. But while they're all trying to fight for position, almost contact there between the 42 and it looked like the 29 of Mercer. That swap almost got ugly right there. But as they're all trying to fight for position here, which is very good racing, and great for TV, and great for the fans. The 21 of Matt Lacrosse and the 8 of Chad Cole is now up to a 3-second lead as of last time by, and expected to grow even more as they cross the line right now. I don't think I've ever seen a restrictor plate race won on pit strategy, but something might have to be done here. As now the lead is almost 4 seconds for Lacrosse and Chad Cole. They are just killing the rest of the field right now, that top pairing. But in the meantime, all the eyes are on the back of the field. And when I say the back on the field, I mean from about 3rd to 11th, 12th position. Top 11 cars, top 11 cars are all paired up right now. Remember, the last pairing is with the 48 of Kevin Linden and the 19 of Rich Jett, who is not in the lead lap. Very sad to see the 43 of Doug Roth stay to the outside of his 2nd pack here. Remember, he had that damage with the incident with LeVere entering pit road, with the tricky pit road. Trying to get as many points as he can right now. 2 cars have officially DNF'd for the event. 38 of Mark Bratchard, he did not re-enter the track after his incident a mere 33 laps ago. And CJ LeVere has officially retired. He will not recover from his 2nd strike, which was on the entering pit road, which we just talked about with Doug Roth. Fortunately, looks like the day is going to be done for Doug Roth too. He's only 1 lap down right now. Maybe if we get a caution here, get a lucky dog. If he get that damage fixed, he could be a threat in his battle again. In the meantime, the 2nd pack is starting to catch the leading pair. Made up about 4 to 5 tenths of a second their last time by. It's about half a second. One thing that's great about simulation racing and the iRacing system is the voice activation system, where the drivers are in full communications with each other full time, usually over a public channel. So it's interesting to hear, as I've been listening all race, the 68 and the 42, they've been talking together, the 6 and the 91, the 19 and the 48, all these guys, they're all talking to each other, trying to talk strategy, while the rest of their competitors are able to listen to them over the public scanner. Just another element added to the race, as the 68 and the 42 have a clean swap. Not missing any action up front. It's just a matter of the 8 and the 21 switching every couple of laps to keep their engines cooled. They're maintaining a steady lead right now. Although this second pack is starting to reel them in slowly but surely. They picked up another 3/10 last time by. You just wonder if they wouldn't race each other so hard and just stay single file. Got about 10 cars right there that could all just stay in line. Catch that lead pairing a lot faster than what they are right now. 50 laps up on the board here. Matt Lacrosse continues to lead. Chad Cole in second again. Scott Simley and Scott Stenzel, they're going to try to lead this second pack here. Hanging out on the outside. Looks like they're starting to form a little bit of a line to the inside there. Got 6 cars lined up on the inside. 91 is Stephen Maddox and Bruce Perry. They've been together this whole race. Trying to carry the inside line. But the 68 and the 42, they're not going to give up their position on the outside. And last time by, the lead for the 21 and the 8 went back up to 4 seconds. If this race were to go green the rest of the way, these drivers will have to make one more pit stop. Unless they got a couple of an extra fuel line or something trying to pull a Smokey Unic here. But they will have to make one more extra pit stop at the end of this race. Finally, looks like all these guys are going to try to line up here. 6 and the 91 are going to try to do a swap. But now, as a racer, what I would do here, I would drop all the way to the back of the line. Unscheduled pit. Oh, what is this? The 29 and the 41 pitting under green here on lap 52. Now, they can make it to the end here if the race were to stay green. They can make it to the end. Get a camera shot there on the 41. It's gonna lead them down pit road. I would expect just to gas and go here. I wouldn't even expect tires at this point. Nice easy in. Didn't slide the tires, and a nice easy out for both of them. Fuel only for the 41 and the 29. E.J. O'Rourke. They're going to coast very nicely, transition easily back off onto the banking, on the back straightaway. Now they can't make it the rest of the way. And while they pitted that last time by, that second pack, they lost an extra pairing. That's about 1,600 horsepower they lost right there. And they lost about a couple extra more tenths to the lead pairing of Lacrosse and Chad Cole. At this point, I am very surprised, and not only as a broadcaster but as a driver, that the second pack has not been able to catch the 21 and the 8 of Lacrosse and Chad Cole. At this point, you got to start to think, unless something crazy happens, it's a 21 and the 8, they're going to control their own destiny right now. If this race were to stay green, and they have a clean pit entry, which may be difficult as we seen earlier in the event with the 43 and the 4. You gotta imagine that this is their race to lose right now. It's just gonna be a matter of which one's gonna be leading when they cross the line on lap 88. Still hard racing in this second pack for third on back. Vincent and Terrell trying to make a run. They're back into the picture now. It looks like they want to try to make a statement and lead this second pack. But the 6 of Bruce Perry 91 and Maddox, they got something else to say about that. Is they got a strong tandem here into turn 3, and they pull away for by about 2 car lengths coming off of turn 4. Just to keep a mental note, the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke, 29 of Mercer. They are about 3/4 of a lap down right now. Don't think they're going to fall into the clutches of the leaders, especially with just that lead pairing leading the field right now. They've been able to maintain about a 4-second gap between the rest of the pack. And speaking about that second pack, it's starting to turn into 2 packs right now. 68 and the 42 seem to fall in line with the 91 and the 6. And in the meantime, the 7 and the 2, Terrell and Vincent, they're still trying to make that outside lane work with the 48 of Linden and the 19 of Jed on the inside. It looks like they're all going to fall in line. I think this might actually be the point where they're all going to fall in line and try to work together and try to catch that lead pack, which is now almost 4.5 seconds ahead of the field. For those just tuning in on LSRTV, the live broadcast of the RSR IceBreaker series from Talladega. Missed a little bit of action earlier in the race. So far, 58 laps on the board. All have been green. Have had a couple of incidents. One involving early was the first of the Valvoline Ford Mustang of Mark Bratchard. Had an incident with the 15. Rhett McBride had a small incident coming off of turn 4, inside lane checked up, 38 went sliding down to the inside wall with a hard contact. Was not able to return to the event. Caution did not come out because they retained he was able to maintain position onto the apron of the track. Also had another incident between the 4 of Lever, 14 of Katina. They had trouble going down the backstretch into turn 3 while leading. The 4 and the 14 made contact. 14 made one great save to not hit anything, but slid down to the apron into the infield grass. Still on the track, did not retire from the event, but he is now 1 lap down to 24th. And we had to grab green flag pit stops around lap 40. And again, CJ Lever making contact with the 43 of Doug Roth, who was also up in the lead pack. Both went spinning into the infield grass again. No caution was thrown. Doug Roth has major damage to the front of his car. As you can see him onto the outside of his second group. He is now going to be 2 laps down. CJ Lever was not able to retain his spot on the track. He is now officially retired from the event. Also got a report that the 78 Keith Brooks Jr. had some mechanical electrical issue earlier in the race. I believe he's back on the track right now. About 14 laps down. And if you're watching this this second group here, the 19 of Rich Jett, he has been working with the 48. That Lowe's Jimmy Johnson tribute paint scheme. 48 of Kevin Linden. The 19 is about 5 laps off of the leaders right now. He is not on a lead lap, but has found himself a nice partner with the 48. In the meantime, with 60 laps on the board, it's just a matter of Chad Cole and Matt LaCrosse really stinking up the show right now with, again, a 4-second lead over this pack led by Dwayne Vincent and Bobby Terrell. And they have been able to maintain this big lead since the green flag pit stops about 20 laps prior. What I just said was 4 seconds was now 4.4 seconds at that time by. Vincent and Terrell, as they lead a single file line of about 8 cars, trying to hug this inside line. Going to try to make a run at this lead pairing, but I think it's too little too late. But in the meantime, looking right now, watching the 21 Matt Lacrosse, the 8 of Chad Cole I'm looking at. Clear sailing in front of them. There is no lap traffic in their sight. Got the second pack still way back there. No worries right now. It's just a matter of good communication between both drivers with their swaps when they want to pit. What kind of pit stop they're going to have. I would imagine fuel only. Speaking of pit stops, the 41 of EJ O'Rourke, 29 of Brendan Mercer. They pitted about 10 laps ago trying to short pit. Maybe make a run at this at the end. They're about 40 seconds off their leaders right now. But they found themselves in a pit group of 4, it seems like. Catching on the 5 cars. With a lap car on the outside there, but the 4, we got two pairs of 4 cars total on this group here. 29 and the 41, they are good to make it on gas till the end of the race. Like to see maybe they can make up enough time on this 8 and the 21 by short pitting. And if this race goes green, this race may fall into the hands of EJ O'Rourke or Brendan Mercer. In the meantime, though, Bobby Terrell leading the second group with Dwayne Vincent pushing him, Scott Simley and Scott Stenzel, the Scott and Scott show. They've been working together for all 63 laps of this event. And you got Bruce Perry, Stephen Maddox trying to maintain position here. They're starting to lose this pack a little bit. With Kevin Linden and Rich Jett hanging on here. Cut down that lead a little bit. It wasn't 4.4 seconds behind. About 2 laps ago, they picked up about half a second. It was down to 3.9 seconds last time by. We'll see this time what the interval will be. And they chop down big time on the lead. They pick up another 0.6 of a second in 1 lap. A lead that was almost 4.5 seconds for Chad Cole and Matt Lacrosse is now down to under 3.5 seconds. This second group is starting to make some headway here, since they've gone single file and actually stopped racing each other side by side. If they could just all stay in line here and cooperate, maybe around lap 70 or so, give them another 6 to 10 laps. This 2-car battle for the lead might turn into a 10-car battle. Going to be very interesting to see. And also you got to keep in mind pit strategy. Again, all the leaders except for the 41 and the 29 are all going to have to pit one more time. But from this point, if they were to pit, they can make it on fuel the rest of the way. Nothing changed that much with the lead that time. Maintained a 3.3 second lead to 21 and the 8. Just curious to see what you fans at home think about this kind of racing. If you prefer this tandem racing over to pack racing or vice versa. We're about to see which one's going to prevail here, as we got a leading the race right now, but we got a pack trying to chase them down. And will the pack have enough time here with about 20 laps to go? Got a nice interval here. Going to check the interval this time by. And Bobby Terrell's going to cut it down. 2.8 seconds last time by. Picked up another half a second. I'm sure that had some doing with the 21 and the 8. They did switch last time by entering turn 1. But again, a lead that was about 5 laps ago, that was 4.5 seconds, is now down to 2.8 seconds. The pack is starting to prevail. But will they have enough time to catch this lead pairing by the time they get the pit stops? I would expect at the very most guys to go about 84 laps on their, to go to lap 84 on their fuel right here. At the very most, if they were to stretch it, that's about 18 laps or so from now. I don't expect guys to make it to go that far. Pack lost about 0.2 of a second, now back up to 3 seconds, but with the lead pairing of Lacrosse and Cole swapping, that should help the second pack tremendously. Maybe pick up another half to almost a second here this time by. Once Terrell is about within a second or so of that lead pairing, he will be able to catch on to their draft and should be able to reel that pairing right in. So in retrospect, even though last time by they were about 3 seconds behind the leaders, they could pick up about 2 more seconds. They're right back in this race. Again, single file. For everyone who would say that these drivers just riding, this is strategy. Strategy trying to put themselves into position to win the race. And it worked big time right there as the leaders picked up about half a second. What was 3 seconds is now 2.5 second lead for Chad Cole and Matt Lacrosse. If you notice, every time at the 21 and the 8 swap, the second pack, who's been able to stay in line the whole time by using each other's air and keeping each other's engines cool, and not having to go full throttle and staying right up on the bumper of the other car, they've been able to all stay in line with each other. They don't have to switch. Traditional pack racing here. And for those of you a couple laps ago worried about Bruce Perry and Stephen Maddox, they have caught back up to the second pack here. Second pack picked up another 1/10 of a second, down to 2.4 seconds. But again, the Chad Cole and Matt Lacrosse, they have swapped right there in turn 1. They're going to retain their positions right there. But again, that kills their momentum. One of the biggest words in vocabulary dictionary right here at Talladega. And that should really help Dwayne Vincent push Bobby Terrell closer to those guys. I would expect the lead to be under 2 seconds this time by when they cross the line. Approaching the lap 70 here at Talladega. The closing laps, every single lap has been green this time by. Saw a lot of packed 3-4 wide racing earlier in the event, had a couple of incidents. But now it's just single file racing, using each other's air, using the draft, trying to make a 2-car race for the lead, a 10-car race, as again, the second pack passes around Doug Roth. Talked about his issues earlier. The pairing of Lacrosse and Chad Cole, they were able to maintain their 2.5 second lead, but they're going to have to swap here this time by. And as I reported earlier, it seems to be every time that they swap, the lead pairing of the 21 and the 8, the second pack, led by Bobby Terrell, they pick up about half a second on that pairing. Again, Lacrosse, Cole, swapping in turn 1. Trying to make it seem like it's just natural. And at this point you would think it is natural. But as fast as they swap, every time when their bumpers are not locked together, they lose precious 1/10 of a second, and 1/10 of a second is huge in stock car racing. Because every time they swap, that 2 of Dwayne Vincent and the 7 of Bobby Terrell, they're able to stay together. With the 68 and the 42 pushing them, the 19 and the 48 pushing them, and the 91 and the 6 hanging on to the end of the second pack here. And just like that, after the swap, 1.8 seconds for Bobby Terrell. This second pack is coming. We're going to have some great racing here in just a matter of laps at Talladega. Before we get to that point, 72 laps on the board, a quick field rundown. Chad Cole, your leader. Lacrosse, second. Terrell, Vincent, Simley, your top 5. Stenzel, Lyndon Perry, Maddox, and Harvey round out your top 10. Brian Harvey is leading a pack of about 5 to 6 cars, or actually a pack of 3 cars and about another 5 to 6 behind them. They're 17 seconds off of the leader, but following him in 11th is Abbott, Watkins, Herring, Browning, Brother, that's your 15. Your top 15. Nathan Bowers in 16th. Luis Rodriguez and Jose Gonzalez, have not talked much about them. They are 17th and 18th. Mercer and EJ O'Rourke are 19th and 20th. Again, remember, they're 40 seconds off of the lead, but they have already pitted. Everybody else in front of them still has to pit. Frank Coons, 21st. Wyatt, 22nd. That rounds out your field that's on a lead lap, 22 cars. Gatina was leading earlier in the race, had his issues. 23rd, 1 lap down. McBride had his issues, 1 lap down in 24th. Wilco, Doug Roth, all have had their issues. Bridgejet hanging into this second pack here. He's 5 laps down in 27th position. Rounding out your field, Schilling, White, Brooks Jr., LeVere, and Bratchard, who are both officially retired from the event. Schilling and Brooks are also officially retired from the event as well, as we put 74 laps on the board. Focusing now on the race up front. Down to a 1.1 second lead. Remember I said earlier, if Terrell could get within 1 second of this lead pair, he should be able to start feeding off of the draft of them. And it should just be a matter of seconds before he's able to reel them in. And then you're going to see some real racing happen. This group of 8 cars here that all been friends with each other, trying to work together, help each other get to the lead. This friendship ain't going to last forever. And when I say forever, I mean about 3 to 4 laps. Lacrosse is going to lead him down this time. Chad Cole pushing him. They've been partners for the latter half of this race. Starting to get this second pair starting to break up a little bit now. Talked about those friendships. They don't need each other that much anymore. They're able to maintain a 1 second lead, Lacrosse and Chad Cole. But now you got Dwayne Vincent, Bobby Terrell, Scott Stenzel, Scott Simley. They're all more working in tandem now than they were as a line of a pack. And they are really starting to reel in the 21 and the 8 down the back straightaway heading into turn 3. Linden and Rhett trying to hang on there along with Maddox and Perry. Hang on to the tail end here, dropping off a little bit. And just like that, folks, we're gonna have a battle for the lead coming off of the tri-oval here. Here comes Terrell, here comes Vincent on the outside. Simley and Stenzel are going to try to follow. The Chad Cole, Matt Lacrosse show is over. 76 laps on the board. 88 laps total were going to be completed here at Talladega. And just like that, folks, the pack prevailed. And we got a 10-car race for the lead. Down the back straightaway. Terrell going to fall in line. Vincent, his partner, staying with him. Driver's talking about fuel on the scanner. This last pit stop's gonna be big. Remember what happened to LeVere and Roth earlier in the race on the first round of green flag pit stops. And here comes Cole and Lacrosse. Chad Cole, Matt Lacrosse dominated the second portion of this race. They're gonna smoothly transition on the pit road. And they're gonna pit here. And in the meantime, Terrell and Vincent, they're gonna lead the field now. It's a matter of time before they pit. But now looking at Chad Cole, leading himself and his teammate for the race, Matt Lacrosse, on the pit road. Don't slide those tires. Lacrosse overshoots his pit stall. Big trouble for Lacrosse. This could cost both of them the race. Chad Cole with an easy pit stop has to wait on Lacrosse. And now they're going to pull off onto the track. Now let's see where O'Rourke and Mercer blend in with them. Big. That little mistake by Mercer right there, that cost him about 5 seconds. Mercer's going to come out leading Cole. It's a matter of them working together. And now coming off of turn 2, here comes O'Rourke and here comes Mercer about half a straightaway back. Gonna have more leaders pit this time by. 42 is Stenzel, 68 is Simley, 19 are Rhett, and the 48 of Linden. Remember, the 19 is 5 laps down, but been committed to the 48 this whole race. Smooth transitions for them. Here comes the leaders this time by. Bobby Terrell, Dwayne Vincent, they're going to pit here. Got some trouble here at the entrance of pit road. Whoa, what a big slide for... Oh, the 19 of Max going to hit the commitment cone. Make contact with his teammate Perry for the race. That should be a penalty for the 91 of Maddox. Big trouble for him. Looked like there was some trouble at the entry of pit road. Might have been Gonzalez or Rodriguez. It looked like they were pitting just before these guys. That's going to hurt the 91 and the 6. Just as bad as it hurt the 21 and the 8. Here comes the 2 and the 7. And now it's up to the 10 of Abbott and the 77 of Watkins to pit. Trying to kind of round out the rest of the leaders here. Green flag pit stops really playing a factor here in the closing laps at Talladega with just 10 laps to go. Big trouble for Steven Maddox, really hurt himself and Bruce Perry. Watching Abbott in a 77 of Watkins right now, not going to pit this time by, might be waiting for a caution. But in the meantime, behind them, when it cycles through to battle for the lead, looks like Dwayne Vincent and Bobby Terrell are going to lead the field right now once it all cycles through. Bruce Perry hanging in there for now, but his partner of Maddox, big trouble for him entering pit road. Perry's gonna fall to the back, and again, what this means is that with the tandem racing, if your partner has trouble, it could just as easily screw your race over as well. But Perry's gonna block the 68 and the 42 tandem, kill their momentum. He's gonna block them hardcore down the back straightaway. Not sure if the 68 and the 42 is gonna get around them here. And that's going to kill their momentum. They had a huge run on the 2 and the 7, trying to make a battle for the lead. Almost a wreck right there. Looked like the 21 of Lacrosse, trying to work his way back up to the lead. Remember, they lost about 5 seconds on that pit stop there. But in the meantime, Dwayne Vincent leads this time by to complete the 80th lap. Now, can they stay up front? Just as Lacrosse and Chad Cole were able to for so many laps earlier after the green flag pit stops. Unbelievable racing here, unbelievable strategy in the closing laps at Talladega. Watching his second pack here. Here comes Chad Cole and Lacrosse. Looks like we had some trouble there for the 68. And the 42, looks like their pairing broke up a couple of laps back. They are really losing time right now on the rest of the leaders. 6 and the 68 looks like they tried to work together, but the 42 is out of a partner right now. Not really sure what's going on there. The one of the best tandems of all race not working together in the closing laps at Talladega. Not really sure what's up with that. Going to really hurt both of their chances of getting a win. So right now you got the 6, the 68, and the 42 all without a partner. I wonder who they're going to hook up with. In the meantime, while we're talking about that, the 21 of Matt Lacrosse and the 8 of Chad Cole, they got around Dwayne Vincent and Bobby Terrell. Lacrosse was leading that lap as we put the 82nd lap up on the board. It's 2x2x2 racing. Looks like the 68 and the 6 are going to work together. 42 found a partner in the 62. 62 is John Wilco. He's 2 laps down, had some issues earlier in the race, just like the 19. Just like the 19 of Rich Jett, who was working with Kevin Linden this whole race. Or since the green flag pit stops, at least. But that's going to cost them tremendously, as now we focus back on the lead up front. And just like we were a few laps ago, Dwayne Vincent, Bobby Terrell trying to run down Matt Lacrosse and Chad Cole. But they got to do it on their own this time. They don't have 6 other cars pushing them. And it looks like it's going to be a battle between these 4 right now. But don't count out that 48 of Kevin Linden. Not sure if you count the 48 out any form of NASCAR racing. But especially right here, working with the lap car of Rich Jett, trying to make up lost ground. But as of right now, it's a 4-car battle with 5 laps to go. Pardon me, 4 laps to go. Solely focusing on the lead right now, catching up on some lap traffic here. Chad Cole continues to lead, Matt Lacrosse in second, Terrell Vincent, that's your top 4. Kevin Linden trying to make something happen here with Rich Jett, who is 5 laps down. It's going to come down to these 6 cars right here, actually 5 cars. Would be interesting to see if a car 5 laps down could play a major issue and hinder the results of this race. Lap 86 of 88. 3 to go. Lacrosse, Cole, swap, entering turn 1. Get around the lap traffic. They got it. Lacrosse has to go high. Here comes Terrell on the inside. Dwayne Vincent pushing him. And keeping an eye on that 48 of Linden. He's now getting pushed by the 19. There's another pair of lap traffic in the mix there. Got an 8-car lead group right here for the lead with coming up to 2 laps to go. Only 5 of them are in position to win. Again, here comes Terrell hugging out yellow line. Dwayne Vincent pushing him. I gotta imagine they're gonna swap one more time. Chad Cole committed to Matt Lacrosse. They're pushing on the outside. Kevin Linden again. He is hanging on in the 5th position right now. Lap traffic getting out of the way. Looked like the 25 of Wyatt, 26 of Gonzalez. They get out of the way. Lap and a half to go. Here comes Lacrosse on the high side, trying to make a run for all their money. Lacrosse getting pushed by the 8 of Chad Cole. 2 by 2, door to door, entering turn 3. If Vincent and Terrell are going to swap, they're going to have to do it now. Otherwise, Vincent's got to be committed to that too. Otherwise, they got no shot of winning. Dwayne Vincent pulls out for air. And here comes the 48 of Linden getting pushed by the lap car of Jett McBride. Or Rich Jett, my apologies. And his white flag is out. It's the bell lap at Talladega. Here comes Kevin Linden in that 48 Jimmy Johnson paint scheme. Got some lap traffic up ahead. Will they have an effect on the finish? Vincent trying to push Terrell, but I don't think Vincent has enough water left in the heater. That radiator's going to blow up. Lap traffic trying to stay high. They're going to go 3 wide for the lead. Here comes Linden on the outside. Linden with the push in a 19. They're going to be door to door, 2 by 2. Here comes Terrell and Vincent trying to make a late run here. Lacrosse, Kevin Linden, door by 2 by 2, door by door. Here comes Kevin Linden on the outside, getting pushed by the 19, and Kevin Linden's going to win it. He's going to win at Talladega. What a finish. Kevin Linden in the 48, Lowe's Jimmy Johnson paint scheme, getting pushed by Rich Jett, who finished in the 27th position, 5 laps down. What a race. It came down a full 88 lap event at Talladega. Full 88 green laps. And it all came down to pit strategy, tandem racing, and who your partner was. Quick rundown here. Kevin Linden takes the top position. Matt Lacrosse in second. Chad Cole in third. Those two have dominated most of the event. Bobby Terrell fourth. Dwayne Vincent fifth. Scott Simley, he ends up in sixth. Bruce Perry in seventh. Scott Stenzel eighth. Brendan Mercer ninth. And E.J. O'Rourke, they're going to round out your top 10. Take a quick break here. Come back with interviews. This is LSRTV, live from Talladega.
morning, good morning. Now he is renowned about 3, 2, 1. There we have it. Round of applause, please, gentlemen. That is
We are delighted to announce that the new Red Bull Air Race World Championship will take to the air and will be back in 2014.
There we have it, 2014, ladies and gentlemen.
Back here on LSRTV, live from Talladega Super Speedway, RSR IceBreaker Series on the iRacing simulation format. Just got done an exciting one. 88-lap event here at Talladega. 0 cautions with 53 lead changes. What an exciting race. And the battle came down to Kevin Linden and Matt Lacrosse. And right now we're going to talk to Matt Lacrosse, number 21 car, finishing second tonight. Matt, that was a great show you put on tonight for the fans. Congratulations on your finish.
Yeah, I wish we could have brought it home one position ahead, but me and Chad are working together there pretty good. I don't know where Kevin came from. Had Rich pushing him there at the end, and that's just restrictor plate racing. Just hold it to the floor and hope you don't wreck, and I don't know, just worked out all right. I'll take a second.
Talk about the pit strategy involved between you and the 8 of Chad Cole. Right after the first green flag pit stops around lap 40 or so, you guys were able to pull ahead of the field, and for a long time there, you were about 3 to 4 seconds ahead of the pack of about 8 cars trying to catch you. It took them a long time to try to get single file to hunt you down. Eventually they did, and right after that you pitted. And how important was the pit strategy of this race in order to finish in such a prime position?
Well, I really messed up. Me and Chad, we entered pit road good, and I just overshot my pit and had to throw it in reverse and back up, and that cost us probably a couple seconds. And I don't know if that was the difference between finishing first or finishing second, but that was my mistake. I messed up. But pit strategy was pretty important. We had a pretty good lead there for a while, but they finally started communicating a little bit, and they decided that trying to run side by side wasn't helping them very much. So they all got in line, and they caught us like they should.
You mentioned the mistake made on pit road on the last green flag stop there. If our calculations up here in the booth were correct, that cost you about 5 seconds. Very difficult to put a perfect race together here at Talladega. But looking back now, do you think, I mean, even with the draft and everything, do you think that mistake, you think, not to put you on the spot, but do you think if you go back and if that was a perfect pit stop, do you think the results would have been differently?
I don't know. The draft does weird things here, so I like to think that if I didn't make a mistake, we'd have done a little bit better. Me and Chad could have finished 1-2 either way. But yeah, I've really got to work on my pit stops. I've been really sucking on them here lately. So yeah, maybe. You never know. It's Talladega. Anything can happen.
Well, Matt, in the end, it was still a great finish for you. Would you like to thank any of your friends, family, sponsors who helped you put it out all together for you?
I'd like to thank Hippie's Paint Shop, hippiespaintshop.com. Paints all my cars, paints a lot of the cars at RSR, does a great job. Quick Car Racing Products, All-Star Performance. You guys up in the booth, you guys do a great job. RSR for having such a great league, and that's it.
Thank you, Matt, and congratulations on your second place finish. Matt Lacrosse, everybody. Number 21 car. Dominant car all night between him and Chad Cole. He comes home in position number 2. And now I get to interview the winner coming out of nowhere, number 48 Chevrolet of Kevin Linden. Kevin, welcome to Victory Lane.
Thank you, sir. First time in the Victory Lane here.
Well, congratulations on your first win, and what a great place to do it at Talladega Super Speedway. Talk about the beginning part of your race. You really didn't come onto the scene until the second half when you picked up the 19 of Rich Jett, who finished 27th position, 5 laps down. Talk about how you guys ended up getting paired up together to help you win this race.
Well, I saw him at the beginning. I think he connected late or something, and he was like a lap or so down. And then, so he was kind of pushing me, and he seemed to be real steady pushing, and I was riding in the back of him, and I started like 28th or something. And then somebody spun, and I noticed he fell behind, so I thought, well, I'll go back and get him. And then we just kind of rode pushing each other for the remainder of the race.
And what a great way to win a race, to start from 28th position, almost shotgun on the field, to 28th out of 32 starters. Unbelievable to come that far from the back all the way to the front. What was your pit strategy like? That seemed to be one of the big keys of the race. Were you committed to Rich the whole race, or did you plan to work with somebody else? I know you guys said that you kind of came together a little bit into going there because you were so far back. But again, the race really came down to pit strategy. You were able to maintain that with that lead group for the second half of the race, and it really paid off for you in the end. So talk about your pit strategy a little bit.
Yeah, he pushed me for a while, and when it came to pitting, I actually, on the first pit stop, I ran out of fuel entering pit road. I pushed it so far on the fuel mileage. But when we came out, we had a really good pit stop. I was surprised how much further up the field we were. And then we just kind of rode together, and on the last stop, he had no mic, so he couldn't talk. I texted him back how much fuel I was taking on the last stop, and that's what he did too. And we just happened to hit the timing really close together when we went in and we came out together.
And I'll talk about that last run to the finish. Things got a little bit shaky there. After the green flag pit stops, everyone kind of got really spread out. And it all came down to timing of who caught who at the right time. And it seemed that you and the 19 really laid back on the top 4 there, those first 2 tandems. They really were going at it there. And then again, you came out of nowhere with a nice 3-wide move on the outside.
Yeah, they seemed to, the top 4, they really had a good head of steam on. And on the last move there, we caught them with some lap traffic in the middle. And I thought, well, if we push it on the last lap, I saw it was like 1 lap to go. I thought, well, let's go to the outside. And I know Rich must have been really hot by then. And in the outside, we passed Dwayne and got to the front 2 and managed, coming out of turn 4, I saw I was ahead, and it's like, man, if I side draft him enough, I think I could keep it.
Well, Kevin, let me just say, even though this was your first win, it looks like it was about your 20th, you handled the draft like a pro. And for all the races that I've been a part of and that I've seen, that was some of the best driving at Talladega that I've seen in a long time. Would you like to thank anybody after this race?
Oh, yeah, I got to give a shout out to my wife. She lets me do all this fun stuff.
Well, Kevin, congratulations to you, and I guess congratulations to your wife, too, because if it wasn't for her, you wouldn't be allowed to even be in the race. So congratulations on your win. It was a job well done, and we're looking forward to seeing more races later in the season.
Yes, sir. I can't wait for Daytona to start up with the Cup cars.
And we'll be happy to see you win.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Kevin Linden, driver of the number 48 Lowe's Chevrolet in the RSR IceBreaker Series, coming home with the victory tonight here at Talladega. And speaking of that victory, that was his first career win in a series, and we're going to give the field rundown one more time here. Again, Kevin Linden, by a mere 10th of a second over the 21 of Matt Lacrosse, comes home with the victory. Chad Cole in 3rd, Bobby Terrell 4th, and Dwayne Vincent rounded out the top 5. The 68 is Scott Simley. He was up in the front for most of the race, working with Scott Stenzel until the end of the race. Not really sure what happened there, but he ended up in the 6th position. Bruce Perry, who lost his partner on that last round of green flag pit stops, ended up in 7th. Nice recovery for him. Scott Stenzel ended up in 8th. Brendan Mercer 9th and E.J. O'Rourke 10th. Remember, they were trying to win the race off of short pitting with pit strategy. They ended up finishing about 11 seconds off of the lead pack. Brian Harvey in the number 66 car ended up in 11th. J. Randall Watkins in that beautiful Miller High Life Genuine Draft car ended up in 12th. John Abbott in 13th. Stephen Maddox, remember, he was Bruce Perry's partner, had issues on that last pit stop. He ended up in 14th. Scott Brotherton in the number 3 Yingling Light Chevrolet was in 15th. Nathan Bowers was in 16th. He rounded out the field that remained on the lead lap. Rounding out the field in 17th, the 5 of A.J. Browning, Stephen Herring, Jose Gonzalez, and Douglas Wyatt rounding out the top 20. Frank Coons in 21st, Joey Gattina never really got a chance. He had in trouble with C.J. Lavere while leading in the opening laps of the race. Spun to the infield grass. Caution never came out. Kept going. Ended up with a recovery finish at 22nd, 1 lap down. Luis Rodriguez in 23rd, John Wilco 24th, and Rhett McBride, who had contact with Mark Bratchard earlier in the race, ended up 25th, 3 laps down. Doug Roth, 26th. Rich Jett, 27th. Remember, Rich Jett, while he finished 27th, 5 laps down, he is the driver responsible for pushing Kevin Linden to his first career win in this series. Chad Schilling, 28th. Jason W. White, 29th. And Keith Brooks Jr. in 30th. Rounding out the field in 31st, C.J. Lavere. And rounding out in 32nd, shotgun on the field in number 38, Valvoline Ford of Mark Bratchard. This was an exciting race to cover, although this was my first race ever broadcasting, kind of ever, on my own. Especially for this series, I had a blast. I apologize in advance for any names that I pronounced incorrectly. I hope you guys enjoyed the race as much as I did, and maybe we'll see each other later on the road. But in the meantime, speaking for our director, Laura, I am Kyle Taraska for LSRTV, signing off for tonight until next week. This is the RSR IceBreaker series from Talladega.